You are about to engage in the guidebook unit, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The purpose of this video is to learn some of the words and phrases that people use who live in England, which is the setting for the novel, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and the excerpts from Alice in Wonderland and the Secret Garden stories. Be sure you have your handout and something to write with for the video. I will read part of a made-up story. As you read along, ask yourself, do I know all the words and what they mean? The gentleman chose his finest waistcoat from his wardrobe. After his daily porridge and orange marmalade, he washed the saucers and watched his daughter Clara practice her curtsies. Next, he got the sledge ready. He knew Clara would rather be playing on the grounds making daisy chains and enjoying Turkish delight, but that would have to wait because today they would visit the Queen. Perhaps a few of these words are unfamiliar, since many of them are used only in England. Let's learn the meanings of a few of the words we will encounter in this readings. England is a country located in Europe. England is a part of a collection of countries known as the United Kingdom, which also includes Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. The red area on the map is England, and it is the largest. That's where the city of London is, which is the country's capital. All the people who live in the United Kingdom often call it the UK for short. They speak English just like we do in the United States, but they sometimes use different words than we do. When you go to the United Kingdom, you may tour the countryside, where you will find very large homes that look like this one. Often called manor homes, they will be made of bricks or stone, and they will be set on large plots of land. The plot of land is called the grounds, which often contain beautiful tended gardens like this one. This is the style of house that the children in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe were sent to. In the novel, we will read about a piece of furniture found in every large manor house called a wardrobe. In many homes, especially old ones, there were no closets like we see today. Instead, people kept their clothes in large pieces of wooden furniture that looked like this one in the photograph. When clothing made out of wool was put into these closets or wardrobes for long periods of time, it is in danger of moths eating the wool fibers, creating holes like the ones you see in this photograph. In order to keep the moths away, people sometimes place small balls in the size of a quarter called mothballs in their closets and wardrobes. The mothballs contained poison which killed the moths. Some of the words used for clothing are different than we are used to. One article of clothing worn by men under their jackets is called a waistcoat. We might call this piece of clothing a vest. A waistcoat has small pockets in the front of it that a man often uses to hold his pocket watch. In one of the unit texts, we will read about a character that is a rabbit who has a pocket that he keeps in his waistcoat pocket. So now you're ready to answer a couple of questions about what you have just learned. Pause the video and follow the directions on your handout at the first stop sign. Press play when you are ready to continue. This piece of furniture is called a wardrobe. Inside a wardrobe, you might find a piece of clothing called a waistcoat. You might also find mothballs. There are two words used for food that you may not be familiar with. One word is used for hot cereal that people might eat for breakfast, and that is called porridge. Any sort of hot cereal, oatmeal is one type, could be called porridge. Another food you may be unfamiliar with is called marmalade, which is a type of jam made out of citrus fruit like oranges. You spread it onto bread or toast. One piece of furniture you will find in the large country homes in England is a cupboard. It is often found in the kitchen or dining room and is typically used to store food or dishes. A cupboard is where you might find a cup and a saucer, the small plate that sits underneath the cup, and you would use it for hot drinks like coffee and tea. One very interesting food item you will read about in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is Turkish delight. Turkish delight is a type of candy that is made of colorful jelly and different flavors that is cut and then rolled in either powdered sugar or finely ground coconut. It is called Turkish Delight because it was originally made in the country of Turkey, but it is a very popular treat sold all over England. We will read about how characters get around using a sledge, which we most often call a sleigh. A sledge is the only used in the winter to travel over snow, and it is pulled by horses. When you ride in the sledge, you are open to the weather, so you might want to cover yourself in coats and blankets. There are a couple of traditional activities we will find mentioned in these readings. One is a curtsy. When a woman greets someone of a very senior position, like a president or a queen of a country, she bends her knees and lowers her head to show respect, much like a man would do when he bows. The act itself is called a curtsy. It's a noun, but the word is also used as a verb. In this photograph, a young girl is curtsying as she hands her flowers to Queen Elizabeth. Another tradition you will read about is creating a daisy chain from small wildflowers that look like daisies. To make a daisy chain, you tie the stems of the flowers together to form jewelry that you wear around your wrist or neck. Have you ever made a daisy chain? Children in England skip rope, using what they call a skipping rope. In the United States, we generally call it jump rope, but it is exactly the same thing. Have you ever used a skipping rope? Now you are ready to answer another question about what you just learned. Pause the video and follow the directions on your handout at the second stop sign. Press play when you are ready to continue. You should have circled the words orange marmalade, porridge, and Turkish delight on your handout. Now you know all of the words in this short made-up story. The gentleman chose his finest waistcoat from his wardrobe after his daily porridge and orange marmalade. He washed the saucers and watched his daughter Clara practice her curtsies. Next, he got the sledge ready. He knew Clara would rather be playing on the grounds, making daisy chains, and enjoying the Turkish delight, but that would have to wait because they would visit the Queen. Knowing some of the words people who live in England use to refer to things will make it easier for you to picture and understand the lives of the characters you will encounter during the guidebook unit, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Don't forget to turn in your completed handout to your teacher.